This is the A to Z podcast. Expert insights on leadership, business, real estate, investing, and growth.
Welcome to the podcast. Today it's all about AI agents, and we're going to talk about how AI agents could be able to cut your cost, improve your performance, and give you opportunities to scale and grow in your business. To discuss all of this and get the latest insights and the strategies you could use to leverage AI agents, I invited Thomas Scott. He is the founder and CEO of Stellar AI Solutions. Tom, welcome to the podcast and thank you for being here to share your wealth of knowledge to my audience.
Absolutely. I'm super excited. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I want to take you back to when we met. I remember you presented and gave an opportunity to the audience. I was one of the audience.
Yeah.
We were mesmerized by your presentation because we didn't have a lot of information about AI agents. And someone from the group, Carly, she volunteered to play with your AI agent. Of course, you invited people to play with it. I would say you dared anyone to throw off your AI agent and see whether it works. From my point of view, it rocked it. And I was actually impressed. I heard about AI agents, but I never
Mhm.
had that kind of live experience. And I was impressed. And as you remember, I stayed behind, talked to you. We have been communicating since then. My question to you is, I'm sure you've done this multiple times. What are the responses that you're getting whenever you allow your audience to play with your AI agents? Are they impressed like I was? Did you have any setbacks, or what kind of observations are people making about your AI agent?
Yeah, that's a good question. As we move into this new era where AI agents will be handling a lot of these low-level tasks for businesses and actually having the front-on conversations. When I first started, as you can imagine, there was a lot of, skepticism about people and how they would react to AI agents. And after, thousands of phone calls in my own business, in thousands of calls in my clients' businesses, the writing is on the wall, right? We now can see that people are okay with talking to AI agents. These aren't just some, system where you're pushing one and two and kind of getting boilerplate answers to some bot out there. This is AI having a full-on conversation that's recognizing tonality. It's recognizing the questions. It's reasoning. It's having logic, and it implies empathy and all of these things that make the conversation feel very natural, right? And so when people are having these conversations, what we're finding is as long as it's speedy, it gets the job done, it gets the prospect or the client through that call and gets whatever needs are met, they're happy with it. They would rather talk to an AI agent versus landing in a voice mailbox, right? Or talking to maybe a customer rep who's in another country and can't really even talk English very well. So in combination, there's a lot of studies actually that are showing that people do suggest talking with an AI agent versus some of these other systems. And yeah, the idea when we're showing people what AI actually does for them, it's really easy to sound exciting, and they in their mind they think, okay, that does sound really cool. I would love to have an agent answer my phone call, and qualify my buyers or my sellers or my prospects. I'd love to have it do all the follow up and schedule appointments for me and all these things, right? But they don't really grasp exactly what it means or how it would work until they actually demo the bots and have those conversations. And so like you did, you're kind of mesmerized of how it reacted and having a full-on conversation. And that's really where the power is shown when they actually demo and experience it, for themselves.
Unless someone had some kind of training about what AI sounds for anybody, it looked like somebody was talking on the other hand, the other end. And I remember Carly was throwing some questions to see how the AI react, and it
Stress
reacted
testing it.
exactly,
Yeah.
reacted very, very well. Let me get your assessment. You've had a lot of exposures to people. People had conversation with you. I've had conversations about AI, and I see that. I never met anyone who told me what is AI. I never actually met anyone who didn't use Chat GPT, for example, the free version. What's very challenging to assess is where people are in terms of AI agents. From your assessment, where are we as a community? They say in the United States, how many people, they say out of 300 million people, how many people do you think are aware of AI agents and the advantage of using AI agents?
So it's funny you ask this because in my world where I'm immersed in AI every day, I'm in the communities, I'm watching, I'm learning every day about AI, right? And I'm talking to other guys and people in the industry, and it almost seems like the industry is getting saturated from my perspective. But it's really funny when you really look at it, comparing it to the rest of the population. That is just not the case. My idea perspective of where we are right now, implementing AI, is just not reality. The reality is that people, the most of the population, aren't aware of how AI can actually help their business, let alone they don't even know what it is or how to leverage the power of AI and to monetize it, whether it's saving you time, energy, and making money with it. The population is just not fully aware, and that's part of our mission, right? Um, when you come anytime in our human journey of innovation from the beginning of man all the way to now, you have to have, you know, these periods of time where people use it and something new is coming into play, and others just sit on the sidelines and they wait around. Like, for example, remember when websites first came out? Like, people swore that they would never need a website, and yet now it's like, 2 years later, 3 years later, it's like, okay, we need a website guy, right? So that's the way I see AI right now. It is really new, but I think a lot of people are catching on to it. But really, it's all about the education, and that's what we're trying to accomplish here, right? Let's teach people what it is, how to use it, and use it in their business, so that way they have that advantage, whether it's getting more market share or just being a better operator, being more efficient and being more productive, so you can drive top line revenue, bottom line revenue, and just outpace your competitors. So that's kind of where we're at right now, Az. I hope that answered your question pretty good.
Definitely, definitely. I want to know, for example, in terms of what is that one thing, if people knew about AI agents, they would say, you know what, I'm going to jump in and use AI agents. I can give you a comparison. For example, ahead of the curve, Jeff Bezos, he understood where internet was going. Once he captured the future of internet, the first thing he did was he quit his job, six-figure Wall Street job. He went to his parents, he asked for money, went all in to utilize the internet.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think should make people to see, you know what? AI agent is the future for my business, for my performance, to save money, and also to scale quickly. To, for example, to cut organic scaling by maybe 10 years, 5 years, 2 years. What do you think that's one missing link where people, if they get that, they will say, you know what, we have already arrived to the era of AI agents, and I have to invest. I have to go all in to
All
utilize
in.
AI
Yeah.
agents.
Well, you know the saying, you don't know what you don't know. Even now, as I in it deep, there's still things that I'm just mesmerized by how AI can help with certain things, build things. And so the answer to that is just like anything, you've got to teach yourself. You got to learn new things if you want to stay with the Joneses, so to speak, if you really want to be competitive and not fall behind, you definitely have to start investigating and researching AI and how it can work within your business to help streamline, once again, your workflows, boost that productivity, and just really get your time back, right? It's all about time. There's no technology that I'm aware of, unless there's a time machine somewhere around, that can actually get your time back. Energy, you can get your energy back. You go to the gym, you work out, you drink a smoothie, you're back in the game, right? And so when it comes to time, we all have short lives here, AZ. We're all trying to enjoy this thing we call life, and this technology is such an innovative tool. It is giving back people time. So AI is eradicating a lot of tasks that business owners right now are doing that just eat up productivity and prevent from a streamlining their revenue productivity. And so with AI agents, it's actually for the first time getting technology the ability to do that. Now, granted, someone can go out and hire a VA or call center, or you can bring in staff. But what we're talking about is using AI. You train them one time, they show up 24/7. They never show up late. They don't have excuses. They have great attitudes, and they do an amazing job all the time, right? There's no cost to recruit and train and hire and repeat all of that. I mean, we're running real estate companies with AI agents, right? In very low staff, and letting the AI do that. So I suggest that anyone who's curious, the starting point is just getting involved, right? And learning what it is and how it can be put into place and eradicate those pipeline inefficiencies.
Let's talk about who they are, these AI agents, who they are, and also
Ooh.
how can you, how, yeah, they're cool. Yeah, by the way, I have a lot of optimism about AI agents. They could go even beyond just being a team member, leading humanity ahead of the curve. For example, in tackling some of the very devastating diseases that humanity is struggling for centuries, for decades, even going to space and do some stuff we cannot imagine, capture, and leverage the data they can chunk in. I see the future is very bright to humanity. I don't see AI agents like competitors. I see them like partners. And I'm glad that you are ahead of this and offering some insights. But what are AI agents and how can we leverage them, especially for professionals, entrepreneurs, investors? How can they use AI agents? Can you give us some examples, case studies, how to use them and leverage them?
Yeah, so the most easiest way to look at AI agents are simply like employees, right? If you were to go hire someone to help you with data analysis, if you were going to hire someone to answer inbound calls, right? To be like a receptionist, someone who's going to schedule appointments, someone who's going to do all your follow-up, make outbound calls, things of that nature, create CMAs or data analysis for properties, like wherever you would employ someone to do a job or a task, that is where the AI is coming in. So it's literally acting as an employee. And for us, we focus on real estate professionals, wholesalers, investors, real estate agents, brokerages. These are all sub niches in the real estate space. And so for these types of businesses, the AI agents that we deploy are some of the things we just mentioned, right? They can do data analysis for you. They can create CMAs. They can create and underwrite deals so that way where a property's after repair value is, renovations. You can use your own valuations to come up with max allowable offers. If you have lead generation in play, they can create content for social media, things like that, emails, scheduling, right? And then we have bots that answer phone calls. They will take leads and qualify sellers or buyers and kick them to the right person on a team. So it does warm transfers. It schedules appointments right then and there on the call, so that imagine your team, wakes up in the morning and there's a few appointments, and that was the AI doing it all, right? So other aspects are the follow-up parts of these business operators. We ask them, what are some things in your business that you just dread doing, but you can't ignore? And one of them is follow-up. It takes a lot of time and energy to do that. And now the AI can actually jump in. So you have automations, follow-up, and the AI will kick in, have full-on conversations, and bring them to the table, hopefully to convert, a prospect into a customer or a client. So those are just some of the ways we use it. But there's people out there, and I know guys that are building really robust AGI systems that essentially you give the AI a prompt and tell it, okay, I want to build a software, right? And it goes to one orchestrator kind of at the top, and then it will create agents and tasks for agents within or underneath them, and then create products and services without human intervention. As far as just the prompt, the start, the goal, what you're looking for, and then the AI is actually building agents to do these tasks. It's crazy. So yes, like you're talking about in the future, man. I mean, we don't know. It's crazy to speculate right now because it's moving so fast. The technology is just getting so crazy. But a lot of people don't know AI has been around since the 50s. Matter of fact, the first chatbot was made in 1966, and it's grown and then kind of halted in certain areas and then grown. And then obviously, NVIDIA came out with technology that allowed GPUs and different ways to use that type of technology to where AI now is able to have that power and that ability of logic and things of that nature. So robots, I mean, AI, when you hear AI, it's gonna be everywhere in your home. Right now you look at Siri and Alexa. These were AI voice conversations, and they're so common now. People don't even look at those as AI, right? It's so it's just so acclimated now into Americans' lives. They don't even look at it as AI. But as the technology gets better, I mean, it's going to be everywhere, in your refrigerator, in your vacuum, in your cars. Robots in hospitals, in nursing homes. I mean, you name it, in space. I mean, it's going to be everywhere. And so, some people are scared, nervous about that, and I could obviously understand that. We've all seen Terminator. It's a pretty scary movie, right? But at the other end of the spectrum, like you said, I believe it's going to help humanity to help us to focus on things of life that are more important to us. You can be at a beach with your family on a Tuesday. If you run a small team and your agents are doing all of the heavy lifting, and now you can spend time with your family. You can spend it building relationships. Now you can spend 40, 50 hours that you would have spent on all that stuff doing things that are really driving the revenue needle forward and growing your business and scaling without the payroll, right? Which is the cool part about it. You don't have to hire and have that stress. So it's coming. But yeah, those are some of the ways we're using AI right now, for sure. And it's doing a remarkable job, not only in our own company, but for our clients as well.
When it comes to people, for example, let me divide people into two. When it comes to AI agents, there are people maybe like myself who have businesses, entrepreneurs, professionals who may not have the tech aspect of it, or maybe they don't have the time to do that. And other people like yourself who may use other AI platforms like Replit or any other AI platform to create AI agents and so on, because they have the technical abilities, the time, the energy, and the passion. For me, as someone who's from the former class, which is, hey, I'm not that good to create my own agents or don't have the time to do it. I have a little bit of IT background. I used to be a software engineer, but it was before 2006. But in my case, what I'm doing right now is I am asking ChatGPT 5, for example, to educate me what kind of AI agents do I need for my business, because I'm educating ChatGPT 5 to understand my business and myself. It understands me. Last time I asked ChatGPT 5, who do you think I am? Can you give me 10 things that describe me? And it gave me 10 lists. I was like, it was a little bit flattering. AI tried to be nice with you. It looks a little bit flattering, but I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know about this, but the AI is right. And therefore, from my perspective, I educate myself with the help of AI generic model to
Right.
understand how I can use AI agents.
Yeah.
That's where I think people should spend time. Like, okay, what are these AI agents? How I can incorporate them, and then if they have the resources, they can reach out people like yourself, asking you, "Hey, would you help me use AI agent for my business?"
Mhm.
I want to touch two things, and I want to hear from you. One you touched is a lot of people are scared and afraid. It's so real. I am a coach, trainer, and also real estate and business broker, and I can see that AI is taking my job, eating it like lunch, because now there are agents, AI agents that are doing coaching, doing training, AI agents that are creating brokers' opinion of values and so on. After a while, I will not have a job unless I know how to partner with AI agents. Would you please address that? Because I meet a lot of people, they're afraid, and it's real. They're scared, it is real. But they can leverage that fear into advantage.
Yeah, I mean, once again, innovation through history has proven and shown that there's going to be a displacement of jobs. It's just a reality, right? We live on this place called Earth, a rock that's hailing through the universe, circling, a nuclear fusion sun in traveling at thousands of miles, spinning. It's just a crazy experience that we're having. But here we are. We're humanity, and as we grow and get better as a human species and try to be more efficient and save time and energy, there's going to be a displacement. It is what it is. However, at the same time, we see that there's going to be an influx of opportunity for people. But Eric Hoffer, one of my favorite quotes, he says that learners inherit the earth, while the learned find themselves beautifully equipped to deal with a world that no longer exists. So at the end of the day, yeah, you're nervous for your job. It might be that AI will eradicate it. Most likely, it's going to be your competition using AI that will eradicate your job, to be honest. So there is a way that you can use it, marry it, but there are industries, of course, that are going to have to find new lines of work, and hopefully they can continue to educate themselves and learn different fields where maybe this technology is going to be used. So that's just the catch 22, right? With any new technology or innovation, things of that matter. So that's kind of where I stand, and this is why I jumped into AI. I see it as the next big wave, and people are going to need to know how to possibly build these agents, right? And because technology in this space is going to be growing rapidly, there is a basis that I think people need to learn. So if you're interested in learning AI, the one thing you're going to want to learn is how to prompt. And there are tons of free courses out there. And matter of fact, if any of your viewers are interested in learning about how to start and just prompting AI, because most of people are using ChatGPT kind of like a Google. They're just asking it questions and not really taking it by the horns and really creating advisors, strategic partners, right? Health guru. Like you could turn ChatGPT into a lot of things and a lot of personas that can really help you. And so, for any of your viewers that are interested, I have a AI Ultimate Toolbox with tons of free resources, all of the tech stack, the softwares, platforms, and AI tools we use in our own business, in our own clients' businesses. It's totally free. There's free courses on how to prompt. I have over 50 different prompts for GPT that you can have access to. If you're a real estate agent, you can create CMAs in seconds. If you're an investor, wholesaler, you can analyze a deal in seconds. And these are all free that I give to the community just to help get you guys going. But this is definitely a period in time where I think people need to recognize the shift and they don't want to get left behind in this scenario, right? I missed out on the dot-com boom. Granted, I was younger. I missed out on the Bitcoin, right? But I see AI as this big opportunity, and I believe I don't know who said it, but someone reported that there's going to be more millionaires and billionaires made with AI than any other industry that's ever came to the table for humans, and it seems like that would be the case. So once again, maybe at the end of the show, if people are interested, we'll tell them where to get it. But yeah, you got to learn, you got to train,
Yep.
you got to get into it and see where it's going. Hopefully you can stay afloat and change your life 5, 10, 15 years down the line. You'd be glad that you did.
By the way, thank you for offering this to my audience. And I like entrepreneurs like yourself because we educate our clients by providing free products and resources. And if they are interested, they can work with us. So I appreciate that. Thank you for that. One thing that may help people to see the comparison between doing certain things with and without AI agents. I can give you one scenario. For example, I can use many platforms to create automation, which means I can have pipelines, I can create different phases, and then I can bring in my opportunities, and then physically me or my assistant move people from one phase to another phase. For example, it could be first emailed, called, closed, stuff like that, the different phases.
Mm-hmm.
But with AI bots, and you showed me actually that. I remember in one of our conversations, you showed me how you use
The
AI
pipeline.
bots, pipeline to move people from one phase to another one without your involvement, and AI to follow up without. And also, I have seen your agent following up with me via text, via email. Would you give us a difference between someone who is just leveraging technology to create automation, for example, without AI, and someone who is actually using AI agents to automate?
So it's crazy, that there's still right now AZ, a lot of people I talk to, and we ask, do you have a CRM you're using, or what tools are you using to manage leads, follow-ups, and stuff like that? And there's still people that are using spreadsheets. Blows my mind, right? Like, how can you run a successful business and just reduce the stress in your life if you're not using, some tools to help with that? So there's a few people, different perspectives that I see when it comes to these operators. You got like the old school who use the spreadsheets and the notepads, right? And then you have folks that do see CRMs and are using them, and they do use automations, but there's no AI plugged in. And then you have people using automations with AI. So let me tell you why these are two huge differences in leveraging technology, and the differences that you can get back from having AI and the automation versus not. So let's just say you do use automations. You're working with the client, and for whatever reason you don't get a deal done, and you want to follow up. Let's pretend you're a real estate investor. You've sent out a direct mail. You're getting some calls. You're talking to homeowners. You made an offer, but for some reason it wasn't good enough. The timing wasn't right. Whatever it might be, right? So you go ahead and you throw them in a follow-up automation. They're going to get text messages. They're going to get emails. They might even get voicemails. They might even get someone to call back and talk to them and see if the timing's right or if anything's changed. But what happens when you're so busy? Because most of my clients, they're smaller teams, right? They're solo agents or teams. They got small team, 3 to 5, people, and you're running around doing a lot of things. You're just not an investor. You're a marketer. You're managing crews. You're doing this and that and answering calls. And so it's hard to be available when someone, let's just say your automation now sends out this text to a homeowner, and they finally are engaged and they go, okay, I think I will, want to hear an offer. And you just don't get back or respond to them, right? you don't get back to them soon or just instantly as if you had just texted them. They thought you just texted them or emailed them and they responded, and now here they are waiting and you don't even respond. So the idea here is having AI, once again, it's like an employee. As soon as that prospect, that customer is engaged in your automation or that follow-up campaign, the AI jumps into the picture, has those conversations with them. They don't know that it's an AI they're talking to. And then we can figure out if it's worth having another conversation, right? Okay, great. Things have changed. It sounds like, it looks like you're more, motivated to sell the property. Let's, get you scheduled so someone can talk to you, get you an offer, and see if it makes sense to work together. So the AI will actually jump in and do all of that for you. So that way you don't have to waste your time. You only care about people who are raising their hand and are hot to trot and ready to talk with you, right? You don't want to have to spend all your time, once again, doing the follow-up. Let them come to the table when they're ready, and then your team gets notified. And that is the big difference of having the AI in the automation process, connecting with them, building that trust and credibility, and then hopefully converting that lead to revenue.
This is a very, very amazing, leveraging AI agents on top of technologies. I want to use this golden opportunity to ask your opinion. I had a conversation with one of my colleagues, and he had some challenges. He had a lot of these investors interested to buy properties, and he knows a lot of deals out there. Normally what he does is when he has a property that matches, for example, with the criteria of an investor who is interested in off-market deals, he would do it manually. And I suggested, by the way, why don't we create a pipeline where you don't need to do much except you put the CRM of your list of investors, and you can have a pipeline where you send everybody with the deal, asking them if they are interested, and whoever raises their hand and say, I'm interested, the AI itself responds with, for example, the NDA. If they sign the non-disclosure agreement, maybe then you can schedule or even give them more information. You can schedule that also in the automation, and they sign an NDA, and then you send them details about the property. And finally, if they are interested to offer, then maybe you can have conversation with them, stuff like that. And somehow I didn't convince him. Am I in the right direction to think that we are there and we could do it right now, for example, with you, or are we heading in the direction?
No, we're already here, and we've already
Okay.
built that. So when we work with home investors and wholesalers, we have a product called Home Hunt AI, and essentially you have AI agents that reach out to real estate, realtors and brokers looking for on and off market properties. And I think that was a little bit of a demo you saw. So you upload a list, it reaches out to them looking for help to find properties. And now you have a bot that's reaching out to them as a lead source. Then you can, reach out to homeowners. Hopefully they've opted in and you're reaching out to them, seeing if they're interested in hearing an offer. Once you have an offer, if you're a wholesaler, we have a dispo bot that will literally sell that property for you. It reaches out to your buyers list. It will text them, hey, I have a property in your area that meets your criteria. Are you interested in seeing it? Then they respond, yes, I am. And the bot has that property and will send the address out, the price, link of the photos, everything they need to kind of assess and make an informed decision, or at least to see if it's worth, having a next conversation and going to look at it. So we're already doing it. We're already building it. So once again, when you were talking to this guy, it's one of those things they have to see it and experience it in person, because even if you say it to them or tell them exactly what it does, it's going to sound really cool, but they just won't get it. And they just logically, if they're not going to spend that much time thinking about it, right? Or even wanting to look in and see if it's legit. So that's what we run into right now. Once again, this is all fairly new. And so everyone is like, most people are comfortable, AZ, in their current process, right? Change is hard. People don't want to change. It's comfortable being where they're at right now. But those that see AI as a mechanism that will not only help them grow exponentially and scale a lot quicker, these are the people, that I want to work with, right? Those that I don't have to really convince. I show them what we're doing. I show them how our clients are saving a lot of time, energy, and money using AI, and how they're growing their business with less stress. That's where it is. So yeah, we're already building it. We already have it. And we already offer it for any of those who are interested. Once again, you can reach out to me to learn more about that, or to demo any of our bots, just to prove what we're talking about. Because there's a lot of people out there who say they know what they're doing, but really it's just a whole bunch of hogwash, and they're trying to jump on the train. I've been building these systems now for almost 2 years, and my partners as well. We have over 37 software engineers and an amazing team of automation experts, and we all put the pieces together to ensure that we have something right out of the box ready to go, easy peasy. So people who don't have that tech background, who are nervous about having to learn that, they don't have to. We can build it for them. We can build it with them. But no matter what, once again, starting off with the education, here's how we use it, here's how other people are using it, is always, a start. But yeah, so just to sum that up, buddy, it's here, it's live, it's working, and we get paid to help people exactly with that part of the process.
The person I mentioned, the colleague I mentioned, I mean, he's a great person. I watched him do closing and so on, and he generates 6 figures every year through commission. And I was proposing, if you automate and use AI, you could quadruple that, even exponentially, because rather than making one-on-one cold calling to find buyers and investors, or hiring someone who may not do the right things, or may not be able to communicate with these investors, why not educate your AI? And the AI would clone you and act like you. It knows the process, it communicates very well, and help you close more, and you can quadruple. The impact of AI agents is amazing. The future is there. I want to make it a little bit personal with you, because the way you bring AI agents to the market is the way I want every business owner to do. In my case, I will never write a book or offer a program or a service from which I didn't benefit. I don't do that.
Right.
If I believe in something, it benefited me, then I will share. In your case, first you saw the impact of AI agents in your own business, and then that's when you brought out to the world. Would you please take us to that moment where you were like, oh my gosh, not only I am benefiting from this, I have to take it to the world. I cannot hide it anymore. I have to speak about this on top of a roof. Talk about this to the world. When would that happen, and what convinces you to bring this to the world by creating an AI business?
Yeah, so I'll keep it short here, because it was a very interesting segue. I didn't plan on creating an AI agency. It was out of necessity in my own company that I built the systems there first, tested, worked them, proved it, and then had people in my industry asking if I could do the same for them. And that's kind of when the light bulb started going off, right? It's like, all right, once again, I missed the crypto and drop ship and all these other opportunities that made a lot of people millions and millions of dollars. And as an entrepreneur, I'm always looking for opportunities to diverse, of course. And so being in real estate for 5 years, I had a very unique business model where I had market partners. And so these were basically investors. They flipped or they held properties, and they would fund a marketing campaign, and I would manage that campaign. I would answer the calls, basically be their lead manager, I would get all the details to them. They would underwrite the deal and tell me where we needed to be at to get this deal done. And so I would act as their negotiator, acquire the deals, and then get it done. So I was acting as their front of house real estate team so they could focus on their projects and managing their crews. And so over time, I assessed or not assessed, excuse me, I acquired a handful of clients, and I was getting bombarded with leads calling in, and I was doing my own stuff. So I was missing opportunities in my world, that $10,000-$20,000, as an average ticket. So when you miss a call, just like anyone listening right now, if you're in a real estate, whether you're an agent, a wholesaler, investor, you miss a call, that's potentially $10,000-$50,000, on average, right? And so I was missing these calls, and this just wasn't conducive to getting my clients a good ROI. And then on top of that, I had good automations, but when people would respond, I wasn't able to get to them on time. Maybe I was looking at another property, or I'm on the call, or just doing something, right? And so I saw OpenAI. They had a demo where they were literally talking to the bot, right? The OpenAI ChatGPT bot. And this was, I think, a couple of years ago. And it just blew my mind. And I said, the light bulb went off, and I said, that is the future of business. Because now I saw that we didn't have to hire VAs, which most people in this industry do, to handle the calls, to do outbound calls, follow up and stuff like that. And so AI is replacing these types of vendors right now. And so after about 3 months in, I found a company out of London to help me build these systems. Tens of thousands of dollars later, tons of time, just a lot of learning curve, of course. And I finally had a system that did everything that I just told you, right? So I was using it in my own business. The first month we used it, I got back the money that I actually spent on the bots, which I actually got a loan for because I didn't have the capital to go invest something of that nature. So I actually went to the bank. So it's like you, all in. I'm like, I got to do this. I got a loan from a bank, paid for it, and then the first month we did like over 30 grand, and so I was able to pay the loan back, got an ROI, and then we also realized how much time that we saved, not having to answer the phones and talking with people that weren't serious, talking with people that the timing wasn't right, who were just a little bit ridiculous in what they're asking for, things of that nature. Plus the follow-up. Follow-up is everything. I had a client where we closed a $25,000 deal a few months ago, and we had been working them for 2 years, right? And so finally he responded, the AI kicked in and then kicked it to us, and we had a deal. So that's how I started. And then from there, once again, people were asking me if I could build these systems for them. And so I didn't want them to have to go through what I went through, tens of thousands of dollars, all the time and energy, and just, the whole mental shift of trying to learn something new. So when we designed the business model for Stellar AI, I said, we have to build this in a way that is super easy, that they don't have to learn something brand new, take all the time and energy, because they want AI to help them get things off their plate, right? They don't want to have to add more stuff to their plate. So we offer a done for you service that is already pre-built with follow-ups, and all the bots are already set up, and we just customize it to your business. And within 5 to 7 days of you getting on board, we have a system ready to go, and they start to see the ROI day one in terms of time, energy, and then hopefully, depending on their sales process, they're going to see an ROI, fairly quickly using the system right out of the gate.
Just to have clarity, and maybe this also gives clarity to the audience if they are wondering. I saw someone choose stuff and then 4 AI agents, and these AI agents, they are team members. They gave them names, human names.
Oh yeah.
And in their conversation, in their meetings, they talk as if they're talking to a person. Hey, this one I think so and so could do it. This one, give it to so and so. These are AI agents in the meeting. They're participating. My question to you is, in your case, have you seen, or what's the proportion? For example, somebody has a team, and they say they have two staff and two members. How many AI agents should they have before they hire the third one? If you have any proportion to tell us the real human team members versus the AI agent
Mhm.
in a team.
I mean, it all depends on the business, right, and
Okay.
where they're at and what they're trying to do. At the end of the day, what we were just discussing, I believe that there's a marriage of AI with humans playing nicely together. The AI is helping to open up the roadway for humans to do what they do best, right? And so whether that's building relationships, right? You're working on higher priority tasks that are geared towards driving revenue is where you want the humans to be at. You don't want them doing the low level tasks that once again eat the productivity up. So it depends on the business, what you're trying to achieve, but the way to look at it is where in our business are we spending a lot of time, and can we plug up those holes, right? Can we open up that bottleneck with AI? And so that's what we do when we talk with businesses. It's, consulting with them, it's looking at their business from A to Z, from lead gen coming in all the way to the end of the close. Where can AI be plugged in to help the business streamline those workflows, boost that productivity? And because of that, your team should get more deals through the pipeline because now they're focusing and have the ability to solely just work on those tasks that help grow the business and get deals done. So it's really where the business is, but that's where we start. Where's the business at? Where can we plug in AI to help with the inefficiencies?
Great, great. Let's talk about scaling smart, not large. How can AI agents help companies to scale smarter, which means with fewer resources, fewer time, energy put into the effort? If you have any example or if you have a case study, would you please explain to us how to scale smart, not larger, using AI agents?
Well, one thing that AI does, especially with our clients, is even if they're using like these types of services like VAs or call centers and things of that nature, they're pretty expensive and they always rotate, and they're humans and at the other end of it, right? And so one thing that AI can help do is reduce overhead cost, right? And that's part when you talk about scaling and growing, depending on where they're trying to be at. If you especially if you're a small team and you think, well, man, I want to grow this business, well, that means I got to spend more money on marketing and advertising, right? I got to get more leads through the door. Oh, but now I have all these leads coming in. I need to hire someone to answer the phones and to work them, right? Now I need someone to actually help with the follow up as well. I need salespeople to close the deals. And so in your back of your mind, you have this traditional way of growing and scaling. And I believe the future is going to allow AI and these AI agents to help smaller businesses grow. Because at the end of the day, we don't want more work on our plate. A lot of people, we just want more revenue. We want higher profit margins. We don't necessarily want huge teams. So they're stressful, they're expensive, and if we can use AI to literally grow the business without having to do all of that, like who wouldn't want to do that? Like it just, it's kind of a silly question, but for me, and I talk to people all the time, some folks are happy where they're at. They just don't see the writing on the wall. They're comfortable. We're human beings. We hate to change, right? We want to stay comfy. But to grow and scale the traditional way is not needed. And it's not just an opinion, it's a reality. I have some guys right now that work with me. They have W-2 jobs. They're land guys. They flip, land deals, right? Land contracts. And the AI is running their business and allowing them to keep a W-2 job while their leads are coming in. The AI is answering, qualifying, and then notifying them, hey, you got a lead you need to talk to get an offer, right? So that is really the future of where I think AI is going to help, not only with small, medium, but enterprise companies as well. I mean, you see all these bigwigs, the gurus talking about it, reducing the employees. Now the guys, all you need is software developers and people who can build bots to replace those positions.
Yeah, the one of the fear a lot of entrepreneurs have when they think of scaling is the headache that you mentioned,
Yeah.
because when you bring people and scale large using other human beings, the challenge is so much tough that a lot of people don't want to scale. They are afraid of, for example, the time, the energy, the resources it takes to interview people. You want to hire 3 people, maybe you need to interview 300 people. Bringing them, onboarding them, and helping them to get along with other team members, and then helping them align with the culture.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to pay for healthcare and a lot of expenses.
Taxes.
And of course, sometimes you may need to fire them. But when you think about AI agents, you eliminate all of this. Plus, like you say, they don't sleep, they don't take time off, they don't need perks, and they get along and they do their jobs perfect.
Yeah.
Given those all advantages, now people who have bigger vision, people who want to expand, people want to grow, want to take their business to the next level, now they have this shortcut. They can use AI agents and fasten. They don't need to wait to scale and grow organically. They can
Right.
leverage AI agents. With the remaining time we have, like less than 10 minutes, I want to talk about the future of AI agents. What do you see? I want you to be a prophet and take us to the future. Let's say 5 years from now, 10 years from now. What does the world look like because of AI agents? Where are we going in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years?
Well, you want me to be a prophet? I don't have my crystal ball here with me, but I can certainly tell you, and I think anyone who's studying really what's happening right now, not even from surface level, but when you're seeing the deployment of investments, not only in the United States but globally, investing in AI, from land to data centers to minerals that build the chips and things of that nature, it's not going anywhere. And I think it's just going to get more and more saturated with this technology. And I believe that everyone, unless you're, you know, unless you're Amish or one of those cultures that don't believe in technology, you're going to have some form of AI in your home, right? Most people, once again, they already have it in their house. But I think it's going to be in everyday life, in healthcare, planning. And I think if, once again, as a human species, if we're leveraging technology to eradicate all the things that just get in the way from enjoying life or being productive as a human species, can you imagine now what we can do as a human civilization if we don't have to do all of these things? I mean, I hope and I pray that we become a happier, more fulfilled, society, where we're able to lean on that technology and be able to get more out of life. You don't have to spend it, 40, 50, 60 hours in front of a computer and doing all this stuff. You can spend time with your family and things that really matter, which really is, what we're here for. I'm a spiritual person. And so at first trying to tie AI into how I felt about it in its place in life, in the human, journey. At first it was kind of conflicting, I think, but the more I started to think about it, I think, once again, I think there is going to be a harmony. There's some scary stuff out there, having some AI do this and do that. And I think we've seen some of the, the news stories about how AI says it will take over the world and it will eradicate humans. And, but at the end of the day, I can't really tell you what the world will look like. I can only assume and hope that it's a better place and that people are happier and have less stress. That would be my ultimate goal, of course. But um, yeah, maybe next time I'll get the magic 8 ball out for us and see.
What I like about what you say, which I resonate with you, which is you're spiritual, myself is spiritual, and I don't see any contradiction here. We're created by a higher intelligent being. You mentioned how this earth revolves around its axis and traversing in this universe thousands of miles per hour and never stumbled. That can't happen without an intelligence that's higher,
Absolutely.
bigger than
Yeah.
matter. And my thinking is humanity actually evolved in creating intelligent beings like AI. It shows the advancement of humanity. What I see in the future is that we could be able to see humanity increasing longevity above 100 years. And also, what I see is we're going to have less war, less tension, geopolitical tensions, because one of the reasons we see wars is because of scarcity of resources. And if we leverage AI, AI could be able to help us tap into this vast universe. And we could be able to get all the resources. Why should we go to war? Why should we fight? Actually, what I see in the future, you can push back. What I see in the future is humanity, like you mentioned, giving these all mundane and nonsense words to AI and focus on purpose, focus on meaning, focus on bigger things, giving us time and energy so that we focus on what matters the most. I see a bright future, but you're right. There are dangers, but I believe we will figure out how to overcome the side effects or the stumblings if we don't control somehow AI, but I see more bright future, better days for humanity.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and I hope that's the case. I mean, it's just like a knife, right? A knife can cut your steak or it can hurt someone, and it just depends on
Yep.
the person and the people that have it. I think we understand and know that, governments at scale. I mean, they like control and they want power. They're going to use this in any way they can, and like there's just a lot of things that seemingly can be out of touch, for the average, civilian. There's just things that you could see where it's going. For me to pretend that agencies wouldn't use it for control and power, it would just be a lie. But on the flip side, once again, uh, if we can use it in a way that betters our life, gives us more freedom to spend with our loved ones and to accomplish our full potential and potentiality of this spiritual creature having a human experience, or however you see it. I
Yep.
definitely see AI helping, and um, I once again I'm we'll just see one day at a time. I use it for good, and I used it to help people, and that's my side of AI for sure.
Let me pick your brain. We have a couple of minutes. Whenever I talk to people, I'm a very optimistic person. I see bright future, but some people push back and tell me that there is a danger. We have to do something, and I see the conversation about how to be on top of when it comes to AI security, making sure that AI doesn't have backdoor where we don't have any control and it could eliminate humanity. I don't see that, but there should be some mechanism on the ground. And my proposal was, why don't we have, for example, we have atomic energy at UN level, for example, which controls and regulates atomic energy. Why not we should have AI agency at UN level, whatever level. In that case, what's happening is that nations, these different agents, they come together that if we don't agree on the future of AI, and unless we have some kind of regulation to overcome bad actors from leveraging AI and harming humanity, we will be in big trouble. What kind of steps do you think should be taken in terms of making sure that AI is not out of control and harm humanity?
Well, I mean, there's already been legislation that's been passed in certain states for managing that, but like most, you read the fine print and it's almost like a backdoor for other things, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think at the end of the day, people are going to start lobbying in terms of that supports their needs or their greed, whatever it might be. But legislation, like who's controlling corporations now? Like the tech companies that are pretty much ruling everything, right? Like who's it's even the laws that are in place. It seems like they break those laws and they find loopholes and things of that nature. So it's a double-edged sword. You create legislation, and now you have laws that prevent maybe AI being used for certain things. Okay, I mean, you have right now, it's supposed to be against the law to have laboratories where you're building chimeras in all these things, but yet they're out there, right, and being funded by governments and things of that nature. So once again, I think humans and agencies and governments are going to do whatever they're going to do.
Yep.
But I mean, obviously, a start with just getting some type of legislations in place that just have that ability, and then hopefully people can follow directions, but without the other evil side to it, where it's watching your every step, listening to you, and doing. I mean, already these technologies are out there, right? So we've got to be careful as a human race, also not to be blindsided by all the benefits it has, but also how it can be used against you. And once it's in the power of someone's hand, and now they have full control, it's like I don't even know if there's a way to get back, right? So
Yep.
once again, it's a fine line. It can be scary and it's exciting all at the same time.
I love that you are optimistic, but at the same time cautious. I share that. And to finish with a bright closing, yeah, there are challenges. And my understanding, so my belief is that there are a lot of things I cannot control as an individual, but there are things I can control. And one of the things I can control is how can I use AI for good, for my profession, for my businesses, and how can I leverage AI so that I'm not left behind. And I'm sure people who are in decision-making places at national, state, and local level, they will do their best and overcome this. But me as an individual, I don't have a lot of leverage, but I don't want to be paralyzed. I just want to do what I could today to make sure that at least I'm not left behind. With that said, any last minute word or any advice, or so where can people find the resources that you mentioned earlier?
Yeah. Yeah. So, right now, if you're a real estate professional, you're watching this, and maybe you just wanting to get started, I just start with these GPTs. Right, you can start with Chat GPT. There's a lot of different models out there that do really good things, and help in many different areas. People are familiar with Chat GPT and 5.0, but there's so many other things out there that help you with coding. Gemini, just launched 2.5 Flash, the Nano Banana, that can really, it's like taking away photo editors' jobs. I don't know if you've seen that. It's crazy, right?
Yes.
Photo generating, video generating. There's, you got Grok in for a lot of different purposes. So if you're interested in knowing what platform that does what, it'd be better than maybe say using Chat GPT 4.0, which is really good for conversational and voice AI. That's what the model we use. Just reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram at boomwith.ai, or find us on all the social medias at Stellar AI Solutions. And if you just DM me, I'll just say DM AI Toolbox, and I'll send that over to them. No charge, it's completely free, and it has tons of courses and ways that they can get started on prompting, the prompts for GPTs, the tech stack, all the platforms that we use for our own business and for our clients, and a whole bunch of other really cool stuff. And also, if they're looking for a custom GPT to analyze properties or do CMAs in seconds, we can provide that as well.
Thank you very much, Tom. I'm hoping that I'm gonna invite you back again. Maybe we can dive in to talk about some of the AI models that you mentioned that's gonna help you create your video edit and work on your PowerPoint, even clone your voice, your personality, and create some videos, courses, stuff like that. There are a lot of things that we can talk about, and we'll invite you in the future to come and dive deeper. For now, I want to say thank you on behalf of my audience and hope to see you again. Hi, everyone. I'm happy that today you joined us to talk about how to leverage AI agents and use them to advance your cause to scale, grow, and go to the next level with minimal cost, energy, and time. Please like, comment, share, and also reach out if you have any comment or any suggestions that you have. Thank you for watching and look forward to see you with another interview. Bye.